Ready to rock. We appreciate all of you hanging in there with us every single day, following us, downloading, allowing us to have these record number downloads, which is just absolutely amazing. We've passed our totals from the first couple of months already, and we're about to pass the total from last month already, and we still have over a week left in this month, which is pretty amazing. It's the 23rd right now. We still have 8 days left in the month, and we just want to thank you because your support has been absolutely outstanding, and it has grown every single month. And we thank you for that. We thank you for spreading the word. We got a lot of exciting things that we're planning for 2020. It's going to be a really cool year, and I tell you, we're blessed. We are definitely blessed to have all of you out there in our corner, and thank you so much for telling folks, because obviously we're not advertising. It's strictly on our social media, and that's it. So you guys must be telling friends and family members and tell them about where we're at. And, you know, a lot of people are finding out, hey, you're here now and all that stuff, and so they're following. And on demand is a way of life now, so a lot of you are doing it, which is really, really cool. Big O, would you pass on a QB in the 2020 draft and want for Trevor Lawrence in 2021? Emilio, how can you guarantee Trevor Lawrence in 2021? Explain that to me. I don't understand that. Miami couldn't get the #1 pick this year with a really young roster. Their coach and their front office and their players were still better than several teams that have way more talent than Miami. So think about it, Emilio. Next year, they're going to have an influx of 14 draft picks, along with some undrafted college guys, a couple of free agents. Don't you think they're going to be better next year? I think they will be. So how are they going to get Trevor Lawrence then? They're not going to have the #1 pick. If they couldn't have the #1 pick this year, this is a really bad league. They're not going to have it next year. So Trevor Lawrence is not in the plans. There's no guarantees to anything. Look, Tua. Now he's got the hip injury. You know, people had the Dolphins drafting Tua and a right tackle. It's like, okay, well, how's that plan worked out? That's fantasy football, man. You can't do that. Let's see. Frank says, Big O, I live here in Vegas. Can't wait for the draft this coming year. Hope you will have some shows here during that weekend. Frank, we're going to be there all week, dude. We get there on the 20th in the morning. Bill and I will be broadcasting that afternoon at Tommy Rockers. And so we'll broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Tommy Rockers. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we will be broadcasting all of the Dolphin draft picks. We will have hundreds of Dolphin fans with us at Tommy Rockers. So if you're going to Las Vegas, or if you live in Las Vegas like Frank, meet us at Tommy Rockers. We're going to be there for the entire draft. Okay? I know some of you will want to go over there where the draft is being held and all that good stuff and get the, you know, the I don't know, I guess the thrill of being there.
The ambiance of the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it's better to be with us where it's all Dolphin fans and it's all about us. Instead of over there, they're not going to be catering to the Dolphin fan. They're catering to the NFL fan. So you got to deal with all the other fan bases. Come to Tommy Rockers, where Dolph fans will dominate.
Be selfish. Just worry about yourself, your own team.
That's right, man. Come on out. Come on out and join us at Tommy Rockers. That's where the real party is going to be at. Tommy Rockers. So yeah, we'll be out there. We'll have some stuff. We will have some Big O shirts also. We'll have all kinds of stuff out there at Tommy Rockers. So please join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We will definitely have a lot of shows out of Vegas. Well, hopefully, by the way, that's our first of 2 trips to Vegas that year, because we plan on coming back for the Dolphins-Raiders game that week. And since it is Vegas.
Well, that year, you mean, not that week. It's not going to be in the same week as the draft,
No, I
It's
said
the week of.
No. I said that'll be the first of 2 trips to Las Vegas. The second one will be the week that they play the Raiders, and we'll be out there that week. That's what I mean. That we'll go out there again for a week. We'll arrive on a Monday or Tuesday probably, and stay all week, and then leave on Monday. It's probably what we'll do that week for the Raiders. It's Vegas, bro. I'm going for a week, man.
Well,
Wife wants to go, she can go. If she doesn't want to go, I'm going without her, man.
no, like she says, what's the quote?
I'm tired of Vegas. Bored.
Wow.
Okay, honey.
Unbelievable. Okay, no problem.
Get bored with Vegas.
The thing that's going to get weirdo, because we're not going to know until we get the schedule out, but we are obviously playing the West in the AFC. And I want to say we're involved with some teams in the NFC, looking at the projected opponents. So we may end up being gone for 2 weeks if there's, that back-to-back trip.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. Well, if they do San Fran, then maybe that would be a really good thing to stay. Would have never considered at the beginning of the season your Heat would be number 4. Coach S has earned so much respect from me as a basketball fan from the time he took over. Good for you guys. That's what JR is telling me on Twitter. And, well, I'm glad that for JR, he's now getting on the bandwagon of Eric Spoelstra, which I don't understand why anybody's taking this long. Eric Spoelstra is a beast, dude. Been a beast for a while now. He's proven over and over and over again that he's a hell of a coach. He can develop players. He gets the max pretty much out of his guys as long as they're willing to work. If you're a Whiteside, you're a Whiteside. You can't do anything about that, dude. If you're Dion Waiters, you're a knucklehead. It is what it is, But for me, I can't say enough about what Spo has done, and kudos to Riley for being able to develop the coaches that he has in that organization, and to have that kind of success, and to see what they're doing now, and they're back in action tonight. Hell of a game tonight against the Jazz. It's a lot of. It sucks that we got the Panthers again in action tonight against the Lightning. The Heat are playing the Jazz, and we have Monday Night Football also tonight. What is it? Packers-Vikings tonight. Pretty good game. But damn, dude.
Important game. A lot of playoff implications there, man.
Damn, dude. All 3 games. I want to watch all 3 of them. The Cats are now, they've won 3 in a row. They're actually playing well. Maybe they can start to gain my confidence back again. Not yet, but it's a nice little roll that they're on. That was a really good win the other night. Saturday night was awesome. That was really, really cool. Dominant, and with Drieger too in goal.
Sproul, what is it? 12 years? He's been here.
Easy.
And
he's been here a lot longer than that. You mean 12 years?
Well, 12 as the head coach.
Yes.
And what we've had 3-4 different roster turnout changes, and
Easy.
Always been
easy,
competitive.
Easy.
Gets the most out of his team.
You had a different roster in the first 2 years, and then you had a roster the first year, the Big 3, and then you had different rosters in years 2 and 3, and then another roster in year 4. And then the changes after that with blood clots and all that several times, a couple times in one season. So, yeah, but Spo's had all kinds of
his ability to adapt, get whatever he can out of his team, man.
Spo's a hell of a coach, man.
He is.
A hell of a coach. He's a great coach, man. Just is. He's only Pops is better than him. It's between him and Rick Carlisle for me as the second best coach in the league. Period. Proves it all the freaking time, dude. And to do what he's doing now with a whole bunch of young guys that are unproven, and they're developing under his guidance and his coach and by the way, not only has his team turned over, his coaching staffs have turned over several times during that time. Okay? So very Belichick-like in the way that he continues to coach well, and his assistants end up changing. So that's a tribute to him and the Heat organization, that they know how to find their assistants too. That when they lose one, they find another quality one.
People constantly coming in here, man, and plucking from our group.
Right, and that's because they know how to prepare people here in this organization. So that's why they get that credit. But Spo he's freaking amazing, man. He's the coach of the year right now in the NBA in my book. I don't know who else you would give it to. The other teams that are doing better record-wise, they have way more talent, and they don't have as much unproven talent as Spo had at the beginning of this year. How many guys are going to be succeeding with, Nunn and Duncan Robinson and Carlos Silva and, Tyler Hero? Are you kidding me? It's amazing what he's been able to do. He's definitely coach of the year right now in my eyes. And, yeah, you can give it in Milwaukee if you want to give it to him, but that's the best player on the planet right now. They have a team that won 60 games last year. They're supposed to be really good. Lakers, the Clippers are supposed to be really good. Celtics are loaded. Nobody expected Miami to be where they're at right now. Spo, for me, should be coach of the year. That's really what I'm seeing. When you do all of this, turnovers in coaching staff, bunch of young guys, only one all-star, you're developing another one in Bam, and you're watching young guys play big-time minutes, big-time points. You got that stupid-ass controversy going on with Dion Waiters, and it hasn't affected you one bit? Are you kidding me? Spo is a monster, bro. An absolute freaking stud. Right now, leading candidate for Coach of the Year in my eyes. 786-322-1105 on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Bobby Nunez and the great people at accidentlawfirm.com. Check them out. 786-322-1105. I do want to tell you about Toyota of Hollywood, and I should be able to tell you about that because I drive a beautiful Camry XSE. It is a fantastic car. If you're looking for a Camry, an Avalon, a Sienna, Highlander, they've got it going on right now. The Ultimate 2019 model year changeover event is still going on. Got a few models left, but got some great deals right now. Special introductory savings on 2020 models. Over 1,500 Toyotas in stock. Nobody is going to work harder than Steve Ostrov and all the great people out there, Herbie Lopez, and all the phenomenal people at Toyota of Hollywood. 1841 North State Road 7. Go see them and drive away in a beautiful Toyota from Toyota of Hollywood.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodzie now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
I can't believe it already. It's hour number 3 on the show. That's amazing, man. I don't know how the time just absolutely flies. We are going to talk a little Tua now in a couple minutes here, or in a couple seconds here. We're gonna get Martin Houston on, and we'll have a little fun with him, and we'll get the young man on, and we'll talk about the quarterback that could be a Miami Dolphin very soon. We'll see if you never know, because at number 5 he might end up falling to them at that point. So we'll try to talk to Martin Houston from Tuscaloosa, and we'll get into a little Tua action right now with him. Martin, by the way, you can follow him on Twitter at MartinHouston35. He's at 100.9 FM in Tuscaloosa. He covers the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll get his thoughts on Tua and the injury here on the program, because I know a lot of you out there. And like I told you, for those of you that are just tuning in now here on YouTube, remember, you can catch us every day here on YouTube and download the show. Just subscribe at Big O Radio Show. Go to our website, BigORadioshow.com. Right there, you can download any of the episodes that Bill posts. You can subscribe to our podcast on all platforms right there, okay? We've got sports breaking news there. Our YouTube is also embedded in there in the website, although I don't think it's working at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's not ready yet, but it will be soon, where you don't even have to go anymore to YouTube. You could just go to our website, and you can watch it right from there and check it out. BigORadioshow.com is the website if you want to check it out. I am going to it right now to see if that's been updated yet. Not yet. They have not fixed that one yet. Well, not fixed. They haven't added it yet to that. Now it's there, but it's just not working yet, okay? The website maybe is at 20% right now, okay? It's up now, and it's got some things that we can do with it, but eventually it's going to have a lot more things. But, you know, little by little, folks, we grow every single day. But for those of you that are not comfortable with apps and stuff like that, you could just go to BigORadioshow.com from now on. And let's say you missed the first hour of the program. Well, guess what? The first hour is already up. And in fact, actually, there's a couple of segments already up. Bill has posted the first hour and already a couple of segments I see there on the latest podcasts. So you can click it and play it and have some fun with it. There you go. How about that? It's a beautiful thing.
We're on hold with Martin. Still no response, man.
We are getting all right. You got it. Trying to get in contact with Martin Houston, and we'll talk to him hopefully about talk a little Tua with him. Anyway, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can do it at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Let's see. What do we have here? Have fun in Vegas, man. I wish I could go. Cubano in North Carolina. And we will have fun, man. We always have fun in Vegas. Cubano in North Carolina. We always enjoy ourselves. I mean, how can you not enjoy yourself in Vegas? You know what I mean? And it's funny because I'm not really like this, like degenerate that's going around strip clubs or anything like that. But it's just a blast to go hang out in Vegas. Shows, concerts, great food, fun. I don't know, Pinball Hall of Fame. I'm sure I'll be going to Hoover Dam for this fool here that's never seen it. Big O, our wide receiving core is actually pretty good. Outside of Williams and Parker, we've got Hearns, Grant, Wilson, and Ford who can play on my team. Not sure what will be done with Wilson, who bailed out yesterday, but do you see a need to address the position in the draft? Jess in Minnesota. No, I don't. I don't think that you really need to address the wide receiving core in the draft at all. I like the wide receiving core. Now, like I told Bill earlier in the first hour, if it happens to be this incredible stud that's there for you that you cannot pass up, then you take him. If it's a guy that you know is a game changer, franchise player, take him. Can't have enough weapons. Make it nice and easy for your quarterback. So, yeah.
6'3", 4.3 speed, 38 vertical, i.e. the second coming of Randy Moss.
That's what I'm talking about. Call me a tanker, but this win hurts. I don't care what you say about GM picking right players. You can pick the best players young when he's been picked. Young is a special player. Culture important, but without talent, forget it. We're screwing up as usual. Okay, I guess you only see one player in the draft. So I guess that after Chase Young, there's no other defensive end that's worth it. There's no other outside linebacker in a 3-4 that they can get that's going to be a good pass rusher. Okay, girl. Okay, I got you. Well then, dude, why don't you do this? Just turn in your fan card, and don't be a fan anymore. Since they screwed it up, and that's it. It's over for you. You make as much sense as the person that says, well, if you can't get Joe Burrow, then it's over because it's not a deep college quarterback draft. Well, how do you know that? How do you know other guys won't come up and become big time players and later on in the draft? Because the NFL is littered with quarterbacks that are starting that weren't taken in the top of the draft, that weren't taken top 5, littered. In fact, most of the best quarterbacks in the NFL were not taken in the top 5. Okay. The greatest quarterback wasn't even taken in the first 5 rounds. Picking at number 5 makes no sense with all the needs. They need to trade down and accumulate more picks for 2020 and 2021. Okay, well, I guess we've got all kinds of GMs ready to make moves for the Miami Dolphins. I'm fine where they're at, man. I'm sorry, guys, but I am going to stay put on this one. I think they'll be fine. They'll figure it out, and they'll pick good players. Big O, I agree with Perk in the Devontae Parker evaluation. I think he needs another year of productivity and consistency. The talent is there now. Is it sustainable? That's to be determined. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I can live with Perk questioning it and saying, give me another year. I can live with the Miami kid doing the same thing, and any of you out there. Okay?
The assessment's fair. What is it, 1 out of 5 years, right?
Yeah, no, it's fair.
So it's a fair.
It's fair. It's fair. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think he's turned the corner. And I think he's arrived. I just think, obviously, he needs to stay healthy. That's going to be the thing. But the difference is we're now seeing a dude that is balling. And make no mistake, he had the concussion, left, missed the second half of that game, came back the following week and scored 2 touchdowns. For the guy that was injury prone, that, my friends, is enormous. I love it. And that's where I think mentally, I think Parker has crossed that threshold where the injuries might have bogged him down in the past and hurt him and he wasn't performing. Now he has had all this success this year that now he has now convinced himself that he belongs, that he's the guy, that he can be the guy, all of those things. So just like I go out on a limb and tell you Joe Philbin will never be anything, and it was a bad hire, even when before he even coaches a game, I said Joe Philbin would be a disaster. So I go out on a limb on the negative, I go out on a limb on the positive. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say Devontae Parker has crossed that threshold.
His body language,
Everything.
his game attitude,
Everything, dude.
double coverage. He's beaten double coverage so many times this year.
And he's fighting for footballs and winning.
Yes, yes. His whole mindset, just a totally different guy.
Everything. I love what I see from Devontae Parker right now. He's the guy that I thought they were going to draft 5 years ago. He's the guy that when I was at Frankie's Sports Bar for the draft, and any of you that were there and you saw me stand up and, I was pumped. This is why I was pumped. Because this is the guy that I expected. And I'm glad that we're going to get him. But, hey, if you want to wait another year and you're a little tentative on it, you know what? You probably have a better, a safer attitude about it than I do. Okay? Because mine, I could get heartbroken, right? And yours, you can like say, well, this is why I was holding off. I didn't want to get too excited about the guy because he's going to let me down. You know, I get it. That's fine. But I'm all in, man. I'm all in with Parker. I was all in on the draft, and I thought he was done. Like most of us, we thought it was over for Parker. Most of us didn't think Parker was going to be the guy anymore. Now he's turned into that guy. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like what I see. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Call him now. Call Martin there. See what we got. Okay?
I was in the process of sending him text number 2.
Call him right now and see if we can get him. He is ready to go. And we'll talk to Martin Houston out at 100.9 FM in Tuscaloosa. So we'll get him on and talk. We'll get his thoughts on Tua. Listen, Tua is, a lot of you out there are willing to take him top 5. You are, and I get it, the desperation for a quarterback has put a lot of you in that desperation mode that you'll take a often injured quarterback and you'll take the chance on him.
I'd rather have Hurts than him.
Oh, Jalen Hurts. Okay.
I'd rather have Hurts.
Okay, that's fine. And it's a round later, too, because you won't have to take Jalen Hurts in the first round. I think Hurts is a second or third round guy, actually, when it's all said and done. But I think that's what it really has to do. It has to do a lot with desperation. And because you haven't had a quarterback, you're willing to do anything and everything to get him, and you're willing to take almost any chance to be able to acquire that quarterback. So now some of you, knowing that he has a hip injury, and you've never had a quarterback here. Now think about this. Those of us that saw Greasy and Marino, it's one of those deals where maybe some of us are a little bit more patient, but a millennial or somebody that's just over a millennial, they never saw a good quarterback. All they know is bad quarterbacks. That's it. That's all they know is bad quarterbacks. So it's tough. And now the older guy has a little more patience and says, hey, look, man, if it's not the guy, you can't get desperate. You got to, because that's who I am. I don't want to just draft Tua because you have to draft Tua. There's nothing about Tua that makes me feel good about that pick. I know he can pass, but I think he's going to break down left and right. That's why I've said many times over that if you're going to draft Tua, you better draft another quarterback later on. You have to. You have no choice. If you're going to draft an injured quarterback who is injury prone, take somebody else. But we're at a point now that you got people that, first of all, you got a portion of the fan base that thinks they can trade from 4 or 5 to Cincinnati and 1 and get Joe Burrow, which is unrealistic. The kid's an Ohio kid. Cincinnati, last time I checked, is in the state of Ohio. Okay? And yet, you know, you got that crazy-ass part of our fan base that thinks they're going to be able to trade up. They're not. And then you got a part of our fan base that has never seen a good quarterback with the Dolphins. They're tired of losing. They love Tua, but even though he has had all these injuries, they're still willing to take him at 5. By the way, those of you out there that are still willing to take Tua at number 5, you will rip the Miami Dolphins to shreds when his hip tears to shreds. Okay? You're a bunch of phonies. All right? Because none of you are going to say, well, you know, I don't blame the Dolphins. I wanted him to. You'll never mention that at all. You'll say, no, the Dolphins are a bunch of morons. They took a hurt guy. All of you out there that want Tua with his bad hip, every one of you are waiting, can't wait to rip him. Tear him apart. That's what you're going to do to the Dolphins. That's what you're going to do to Chris Greer when he breaks down. Ah, idiots. They shouldn't have taken him. But wait a minute, dude. Didn't you want Tua? And that's where we're at right now, dude. It's amazing. But that's what desperation does to you. It puts you in this position. And you're like, okay, wait a minute. I need a quarterback. I gotta have. You're like Pookie in New Jack City, and you're looking for that crack. You gotta have that crack. You need that crack. Oh, Tua's only got one leg. I'll still draft him. That's how bad it is right now. Meanwhile, for me, there's a whole bunch of money. There's a whole bunch of draft picks. Maneuver. You'll find players in other parts of the draft. Do not reach for Tua. Because to me, that's what it would be. If you take Tua in the top 5, you're reaching for a guy, and you're hoping something happens that never happens with the guy. Stay healthy. He's got 4 surgeries, 6 lower body injuries in the last 2 years. And you want him to stay healthy at a level that they play harder, hit harder, they're bigger, they're stronger, and they play more games. And you want him to stay healthy. Come on, man. Seriously? Is that what we're talking about? Desperation, my man. Desperation for a QB has got a lot of Dolphins thinking some crazy things, and they're going to extremes just to get a quarterback. It's amazing. It really is. Hey, call the folks at Choice Mortgage Bank, Michael Kodsey. They can get you into state rates under 3.5% right now. Call Michael Kodsey. You can call him right now. You can call him tomorrow. Call him on Christmas Day. 561-441-2730. State rates under 3.5%. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. All right? When they answer the phone, say, hey, Big O said you're going to take care of me. Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730. All right, let's talk a little Tua with Martin Houston from the Martin Houston Show. They're at 100.9 FM. They're in Tuscaloosa.
Let's do it, Jack.
Martin, how are you doing, my man? Good afternoon.
I'm doing well, Big O, and glad to be in with you, man.
It is good to have you on, my friend. How is the buzz now in Bama with Tua sidelined? Talk to us a little bit about the buzz right now with the young man.
Well, you know, for us, Big O, it's kind of like we're having to adjust. It's been a while since we've had to talk about anything other than getting ready to play for a national championship. So I think we've just about, adjusted to life with no playoffs. As far as the Tua situation, Tua has kind of kept himself relevant and impacting his team still in a powerful way, which shows his true sign of the type of leader and player he is, not just with his arm talent and his smarts, but that leadership role that he's played. You look, I think that Alabama goes into this game with Michigan with a legit chance to win because Tua was able to sit down and encourage and keep all of those guys that were on the verge of, we think here locally, not playing in that bowl game. But I think him talking to them and talking about leaving a legacy and all of that, I think that had a huge impact. So even though he's not on the field right now and won't be on the field come when we take on Michigan in the Citrus Bowl, I think he will have a huge impact in that game.
What's your gut tell you right now, Martin? Is he crazy enough to stay? Because it doesn't make sense for him to stay, really. He should go. But you can make an argument to stay, get healthy, prove that you can stay healthy and have a good year. What do you think happens with Tua?
Well, I think it's really based on what's true, what's real, what's the actual story. If the actual story out there is that he's going to be, one of these top, 15 picks, or to me, if he goes anywhere in the first round, then I think if that's still true and the NFL scouts are really still looking at him that way, then I think he's crazy for coming back. But I think this young man has a little something different about him. I think he wants to leave a legacy. I think he wants to be the man. I know we talk about second and 26, but he knows that wasn't his team. That was Jalen's team. He hasn't gotten his team there. And I think legacy and all of that means something to him. And I think that's why he's thinking about coming back. And the reason he comes back, Big O, if he does, is I think he's talking to the Lords of London and all of those and getting that, what I call gap insurance between where you're projected to go and where you actually end up. But to me, risk and reward, I think he's taking a huge risk in coming back if he can still be, one of those first-round draft picks. And been a late-round draft pick probably in the long run of things. If I'm a New Orleans or a Green Bay or one of, the Patriots or something like that, I'd go get this kid because I got a quarterback that's going to play for another couple of years and rehab him and get him well and get him acclimated and bring him up. And I think that ends up being, longevity for his career, especially we know what happens to these quarterbacks that go to these sorry teams, the David Carrs of the world. Prove that out, and Tua does not need to land in one of those situations.
So let me, first of all, Martin, there is no freaking way he lasts all the way to the end of the first round. This is such a quarterback desperate league. I think he's gone within the top 10, 15 picks at that point. I think somebody will take a chance on him because he's such an exceptional passer. It's funny, Martin, because you're in the middle of the storm, so you see it every day. But I laugh when people say, well, he's surrounded by all these first-round picks, and none of that has anything to do with accuracy, man. None of that has anything to do with anticipation and ball placement and all of that. You can have great receivers, and I've seen great receivers that have no quarterbacks, and it's hard to get them the ball. And then you're like, hey, man, this guy's great, and he's touching the ball 2 or 3 times, and that's because the dude that's throwing the ball can't get him the ball. I love how we take away credit from the guy that delivers the football because the other guys happen to be really good. Well, guess what? Those guys get to be really good because the guy throwing the football throws it in a, pristine fashion.
Yeah. When you talk about Tua, it's so funny, because I was hearing weather the storm of the Jalen and Tua argument, and people dog Jalen. And I go, and every time someone says, well, Jalen, he just beat Jalen out and Jalen quit and all this stuff. And I go, name one quarterback in this country that if Tua had chose their school that would have kept their job. I mean, it's
Lawrence, maybe that's the only guy because that's the only other freak in the damn league. That's
right.
it.
That's I tell people all the time. I'm like, guys, it's no. Jalen has nothing to worry about. Tua Tagovailoa is when it comes to his accuracy and his release, and not just that, but I think what made him special, and he adjusted it because Clemson figured it out, is his pre-read. His strength became a weakness by the end of the season, and that's why Clemson got a couple passes on it, because his pre-read was so good that you could deceive him if you had the talent to recover. And Clemson was the only team that had that, in 2017. And so he adjusted that in 2018. Ironically, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this, one of the things that makes Tua elite is how quickly he reads it, but then how quickly, once he sees it, he can get it out.
Yep.
It also, I think, contributes to his ankle injuries. Watch him when he runs. He never picks his feet up. And so when he sees something, his feet are always so close to the ground, he's able to get rid of the ball so quick. But guess what happens when guys get around his ankles? They get twisted. They get turned. And so it's funny how especially as this kid is, he has a couple little quirks that if he learns to adjust around them, I'm like you. If I'm an owner and I've seen what he's done in college and I've seen what some of these other guys have done that I've taken chances on, I'm taking the kid. I'm not going to let him pass me by. If I need a quarterback, I'm willing to take that chance and go, okay, here's a whatever $1 million investment, and if it works out, we were more than enough make our money back. If it doesn't, we'll write it off as an investment that we just had to take a risk on.
Martin, what do you tell people like me that I love the kid as a passer? I think he easily can be a player in the NFL. There's no doubt in my mind. But, unfortunately, he's too injury prone. I don't believe he'll stay healthy in this league. He's had 4 operations in 2 years in a league that doesn't hit harder, in a league that the players aren't bigger, aren't stronger, aren't faster, and they play more games in the NFL. So there's a lot more that he faces in the NFL than in college, and he can't stay healthy for one college season. There is no way in my mind that it crosses that he's got an NFL line almost in Alabama, and he can't stay healthy. That's my problem with Tua. I think he's crossed that threshold that he's fragile. So tell me,
yes.
Walk me off the ledge and tell me why I shouldn't think that he's fragile.
Well, first of all, you have to look and go, yeah, he had these things, but how different are they? The reality of it is the majority of his injuries have been lower body, knee to ankle. Knee once, which in the NFL, they actually protect that in the NFL quarterbacks. His knee that got hurt last year, Mississippi State, we watched that game, and before he got hurt, they went at his knees about 5 times in that game before they finally got it. Okay? Those guys would be out of the game. So you watch, you can't touch the quarterbacks in the NFL. Number 2 is he has to learn, and this is the question. He's not Brett Favre in the sense of gunslinger. Well, maybe more Aaron Rodgers. He won't give up on the play.
Right.
He has to learn to throw the ball away. Because if you go back and look, most of his injuries, he's rolling to his
outside
left.
of the pocket, yeah, that's right.
Outside of the pocket, and he just won't throw the ball away. So can that be fixed? I think it can. And then the last thing is the hip thing is what put it over the hill. And everybody says, that hip thing was not related to his ankle. Yes, it was. Having played the game, we all protect, right? If something's injured, we protect it. Go back and watch that play, Big O. He's rolling to his left. 2 guys are chasing him. He runs. That leg is behind him. And right as he gets ready to go to the ground, what does he know is going to happen? He knows he's going to get hit from behind, and he sucks that leg up under him to keep that guy from falling on it. And then 2 guys fell on him right at that exact moment. So the hip, even though it's a freak thing, it's a weird thing, it actually was related to the exact same injury, even though it's a separate injury, in Martin's opinion. And so I think that injury prone is just one of those weird things. Maybe, I sell insurance, they call actuaries, and they say, well, if you have 100 people, this many are likely to have an injury.
Right.
And this is what the claims you're going to pay. Maybe Tua's used all his up.
I hope for his sake this is the end of his injuries and he's able to move on and have because we all know, I mean, those of us that follow him and believe in him, you don't teach that, man. You either have it or you don't. I've always been a strong believer of that. I don't believe quarterbacks become accurate. I think either you have it or you don't. I always give the analogy like this, Martin. We go to the park, and it's a 4-on-4, 5-on-5, 6-on-6. We're all playing with the fellas. Usually there's only one dude that can really pass the ball. We all want to be on that side because we all know if we're on the other team, the other guy, he just doesn't pass the ball the same way. And it's something you can't teach because there's 8 of you, and one kid came from the other neighborhood across a couple blocks away. He's never played with you, but he's on the team with the guy that can actually throw. So he drops back and he just throws a 9 route, and he throws it on a dime. And he's never played with the kid. Why? Because accuracy is something that you either have it or you don't. And Tua has it. Just
Tua has it. He has it in buckets. And I don't know if you know, the most amazing thing about Tua Tagovailoa is first of all, I think he's one of the most accurate in as far as IQ quarterbacks we've seen in a long time. Number 2 is, the kid is naturally right-handed, right? Have you ever heard that story?
No, go ahead.
Tua is not left-handed. He was not born left-handed. His dad was left-handed, and everybody else in the family was right-handed. So he taught Tua to throw with his left hand. And now you look at this kid, and to your point, he is one of the most accurate passers I've ever seen. And to me, a left-handed ball is just prettier than a right-handed ball. So I think it makes it even more like when you see him, throw that deep ball or that slant route or
in stride.
When he hits that guy in the middle. And that's, to me, and that's what you just said, that's the difference between a quarterback being able to complete passes and a receiver being good. The difference is Tua hits a Henry Ruggs who runs a 4.2 40 in stride, and it becomes, instead of a 15-yard pass, it's a 65. Devontae Smith, he makes these guys be able to run full speed, never break stride. And that DB, unless he's, in phase with them, he's not going to make that tackle many times. And that's what separates Tua, I think, from virtually any quarterback I've seen at this level. You see guys at the pro level do it, the Drew Breeses of the world, but they don't come out of high school with that level of accuracy, that consistent level of accuracy. And that's what Tua's done since the first time he stepped on the field.
Yeah, and that's what we all said, too, for many years. We're like, okay, Saban is killing it, and he has a jag at quarterback. He has a guy that just facilitates. Can you imagine if you would get somebody dynamic and in comes Jalen and Tua, and that's just taken it to a completely other level, because they always had solid, college quarterbacks, guys that just facilitate, get the ball out, but never really dynamic. And now the last 2 quarterbacks with Hurts and Tua have been dynamic, and we've seen what the end result is. Now we're seeing something incredibly explosive now at this point. By the way, who's the next explosive quarterback going to Alabama?
It's going to be interesting to see what Saban does, Theo, because I don't know if you have to see signing day. Either it's the new Saban or this kid is really this special. He went on and on talking about Bryce Young, the kid from California, number 1 dual threat quarterback in the country. Here's what has the people in Tuscaloosa jumping, Big O, is he is Jalen and Tua in the same body. He has the athletic ability of Jalen, and he has the passing acumen of Tua. Wow. And it's like people are like, this is crazy. And the only thing, if you had asked us before Tua got hurt, and Mac Jones came in and played well and played admirably, other than the 2 pick sixes, it was, people just assumed that that Bryce Young was going to come take this team. And now the question becomes, how does Saban manage it? And what I think he's going to do is we're going to have a spring where you're going to see Mac Jones, because he doesn't want to come into next season with a true freshman, a redshirt freshman, and a sophomore that has, 4 or 5 games under his belt in Talia to his younger brother. That's the quarterback room if Mac Jones leaves. And I think he's going to give Mac every chance to do it. But I think Bryce Young will push him and even potentially take the job if Mac wins it coming out of the beginning of the season.
Martin Houston, by the way, from the Martin Houston Show at 100.9 FM there in Tuscaloosa. You can follow him on Twitter at MartinHouston35. Martin, while I have you here, let me ask you this. You saw Jalen. Now, I'm like in this, I guess I'm old, okay, Martin? That's also probably affects me a little bit on this one. Lamar Jackson's from my backyard here in South Florida. We love the kid. He's fantastic. I still don't believe long-term you can play quarterback in the NFL running 200 times. I think eventually there'll be a Haloti Ngata that will break your ass in half like they did with RG3, like you break down Cam Newton, like you can break down Andrew Luck. This is a brutal league with quarterbacks, and I just don't believe that a quarterback can survive running. I think you have to become a passer, and you have to learn to beat people in the pocket like Russell Wilson. Russell can use his legs, but he uses them as a last-second resort because he's first and foremost a pocket passer. Tua is the same thing. First and foremost, a pocket passer will use his legs. Do you believe Jalen Hurts, who has to live with his legs, is not really a true pocket passer like Tua? Can he survive in the NFL? Because that's the other guy that people are talking about. Maybe not a first rounder, but maybe a second or third rounder. Your thoughts on Jalen, the running quarterback in the NFL, all that good stuff.
I'm probably not. I'm old school, but probably not as old school as you just described yourself to be. I think it can, but I think it takes a complete buy-in like they did with the Ravens. This is the first – Lamar Jackson is the first quarterback we're seeing where an NFL team did not try to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Great point.
In other words, they didn't say, hey, you're running quarterback and you're going to run it, but we're going to let you run it from the traditional NFL.
Cam Newton.
Right. Yeah. So even though Lamar runs it a lot, you go back and look, Lamar doesn't get hit a lot. That's number one. He got jacked yesterday, but he doesn't get hit a lot. But here's the question. If he's going to be that type of quarterback, is he training no different from a running back? You see what I'm saying? A running back. Now, the question becomes, do you expect to have a 12-year, 15-year career with a quarterback, or would you take a Lamar Jackson for 8 to 10? I don't think that is a 12 to 15-year career track for a quarterback, but I think he can be an 8 to 10-year career. And if he's as good as Lamar Jackson, a guy who a week ago had leading the league in touchdown passes, but 25th in attempts, then you win with that if you go all in. And that's what Jalen has to find. We saw that Jalen went from a guy who left Alabama where they were trying to make him a square peg in a round hole. He goes out to Oklahoma, and Lincoln Riley just says, hey, we're going to become a running team. We're gonna run first and pass and use CeeDee Lamb when we need to, and we're going to do that on Jalen Hurts, and he goes for almost 5,000 yards and 51 touchdowns. You can win with it, but if he goes to the next level and he doesn't get the same buy-in that Lamar Jackson did, you're wasting a pick. If you're going to try to make him be that square peg in a round hole, I don't think it works. But Big O, the question about these guys being long-term is, do you have to kind of change what's a long-term quarterback?
Right.
You're not going to get a Lamar Jackson that's going to play 12, 15 years. But I guarantee you Lamar Jackson, with the offense built around the way it is and deception and not clear hits when he runs the ball, and most of the licks he's taken, would you say most of his licks have been from a DB?
Oh no, he's
he-
he's very Barry Sanders, very Warwick Dunn, very Russell Wilson. Also, you
Right.
don't really get shots
You're
on
right.
Russell either.
Right.
He has
Right.
that gift because, dude, he's such a freak athlete.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
he
It-
has that lateral movement that those special guys, all those guys I talked about, have that lateral shift. That's but you and I know, Martin, that at one point or another, these other guys are too big, too fast, too strong, and somebody's going to catch them on one of those shifts because it's just it's just a numbers game, man. You know how it is.
But do they not get the pocket passers the same way? That's what I'm saying. You have to kind of change the expectation. The quarterbacks get hit a lot, and these guys. You think about how often the regular quarterbacks really get hurt, other than a few guys. I mean, how many times do we see an NFL team start a season with a guy and end the season with a guy? So the question becomes: Is he training to take hits? If he's training as a quarterback that's going to sit in the pocket, and if he's doing Brady's workout, or is he doing a Alvin Kamara workout? Is he building that body to take those licks? And if he's not, then you can't do this. The physicality of the football game and the nature itself, you have to train for it. And if you play a position that like a running back, there's different training to take those licks and take that pounding. But Lamar Jackson is as big as some of all of the running backs when I was playing, but big as a lot of the running backs are bigger than a lot of the running backs today. So if he's training for it, he can take it. If he's not, then you probably need to plan on having 2 or 3 good year run and then move on to someone else.
That's Martin Houston. You can catch him at 100.9 FM there in Tuscaloosa, covering the Alabama Crimson Tide, and follow him on Twitter at Martin Houston 35. Martin, excellent insight, my man. Thank you for taking some time. I know the Miami fan base really appreciates it. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, and roll tide down in Miami.
You got it, baby. You be good. Thank you.
You do. Bye.
There you go. Martin Houston, man. Good stuff there from 100.9 FM in Tuscaloosa. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can do it at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. And I got to talk about Eric and all the great people there at MoodiusDental.com. Go to the website, MoodiusDental.com. Better yet, we are proudly represented by Moody S. Dental, the implant and Invisalign experts. Got my Invisalign on right now, folks. Take advantage right now of your insurance benefits. Got a few days left here in the year before they run out and they're all gone. But let me tell you something. You're looking for implants, Invisalign. You want to straighten out those teeth. I want to straighten out the bottom of my teeth. They got kind of a little bent up. So they're straightening it out. I'll show you the before and after pictures. You're going to be amazed. Go to MoodiusDental.com. You need an implant. You need a crown. You name it, a root canal. That's painful. But they will do a great job for you. And I'm latest technology. I'll give you an example in Moodius Dental. If you got to have an implant or you've got to get a crown, they make the tooth right there. You don't go and walk around for a couple of weeks or a couple of days with a temporary. No, they make the tooth right there. I mean, I'm telling you, state-of-the-art equipment. You're going to love it. MoodiusDental.com. Follow them, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Moodius Dental.